Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. I'll get to the JRC in a moment. First, brief disclaimer. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign, you're going to find the pertinent links there in the description box. Should you like to do a deep dive, you should be able to go ahead and do so. Trigger warnings. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity. And when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So, if you have children that watch the channel that are 16 and younger, parental supervision is very much advised. Alright, folks, where we left off, we're going to see what Anthony has to say. I believe that it is of the utmost importance to prioritize research into a cure for autism. Oh my God, here we go again. They have been pouring the majority of research funds into a so-called cure for over the last 4 decades. That has been the priority. What are you talking about? That has been the priority. To the point that research in other areas, if it's happening at all, is barely making it. But that should be a main focus and goal. So you want me to just start setting Benjamins on fire? Because that is what you're doing. It'd be simpler just to open your wallet, turn it upside down, and let all of your cash, your debit cards, and your credit cards land in the toilet and flush it. Because has there been any results yet after 4 decades of prioritizing cure research above everything else? Has there been any developments whatsoever? No. We need to start prioritizing supporting these goddamn families who are barely making it as it is. Maybe some research funding into the current programs being used for actual treatment should be considered the priority, considering that those are things that can directly help the child that's already born right now. We need more research funding into the various different treatment programs. We need more research in regards to why there is some areas flush with supports and other areas have absolutely almost nothing at all, and that can even be within the frame of a single city. We definitely need research into the going from high school into adult world transition type services. You want to talk about an area that needs research and data? That would be what I would harp on as a priority and focus. I'd also would want to prioritize adult services and research there. I'd like to see some longevity research in regards to the effects of an overall treatment program throughout the duration of the lifespan of the particular autistic, because we are getting to the point where we will finally be able to do something exactly like that. This whole, the cure, and only the cure does not help those of us who are already fucking here. Families are drowning. These treatments, without help are beyond expensive. It could break a family financially. I have seen it over and over and over again. That they may have insurance through their work, but insurance does not cover the type of things that places like ARC cover. We need to help the families that are here who are drowning. We need to help the kids who are falling through the cracks because their parents have insurance through work, but that insurance is not going to cover the additional services that you could receive through places such as ARC or NOVA, for example. Like, I'm tired. Let me continue. Like most people who have been labeled autistic from early childhood, my son cannot advocate for himself. I call bullshit. If your kid is yelling and screaming at you, saying no, he's advocating his thoughts. But it's not acceptable to you. He cannot speak for himself. You've never given him the ability to even be able to try. Okay? You cannot sit there and pound your chest and say, I am their voice. They can't speak for themselves. 9 times out of 10, these are individual parents who have not tried communicative devices. They have not tried typing classes. They have not tried sign language. They just say, no, they can't speak, they can't do these things. Not just that, but they'll insist they'll never be able to do those things. Do you know how many people never end up doing anything because nobody's ever asked them to try? Especially for us who are disabled. I mean, not everybody's, like, essentially hold my beer and watch this incarnate quite the same way that I am. Not everybody sits there and listens to all the crap that they can't do about how they needed to be my voice and say, hold my beer and watch this. Some of us internalize that shit. Well, my parents say I can never advocate for myself, and because I can't speak, well, obviously that's true, when that is not the case at all. That's why statements like that piss me off. And if you've tried those devices, clarify that. I am so tired of people trying to insert themselves, yes, even parents, and declare, I am their voice. Sit the fuck down. Like hell you are. You are not entitled to shout down your own child's voice. Let me say that again. You are not entitled to shout down your child's voice. You are a parent. Your job is to help them find theirs. And yes, there are methods to help with that. But first, you have to get out of your self-entitled, self-righteous, self-martyrdom enough to be able to start researching it into these things to help them find their damn voice. Your job as a parent is not to be our voice, it is to help us find our own. Whether you are neurodivergent or neurotypical, it's the same. Okay? Indeed, he is totally dependent on his family. I further believe that this condition is not Cantor autism, but an illness, likely a neuroimmune dysfunction and hence not a developmental disorder and should be curable. Oh my God, here we go again. It is not a neuroimmune dysfunction. It is a developmental disorder. But we should be able to cure it. No, Karen, because it's not a neuroimmune dysfunction. It is about how our brains have developed. And there's a lot of science to back it up. In fact, I myself have participated in one of those studies that had a particular focus on the differences between the developing brain of a neurotypical versus an autistic. It's done up here, Columbia, Missouri, at the Columbia University, early 2000s. It's heredity. It is a developmental disorder. And screaming, but it should be curable, and your most recent pseudoscience explanations that you found on Google do not change that fact. These are the kind of parents that run places like Age of Autism. By the way, if you want to torture yourself and never sleep again, go look it up sometime. I'm going to say it, these are the kind of parents that piss me off. They make grand assumptions, do everything they can to complain so that people will see them as a martyr. I'm sorry, but you are not Jesus Christ. You are not my Lord and Savior. Stop it. You're just wanting attention. At least it seems that way to me. If you just keep beating your chest, playing the victim, instead of taking time out of your day to look into devices that could help your child find their own voice, I got no time for you. No time. You never know if a person can do something or not if they never try. My kid can't try. He's dependent on all of us. He does nothing on his own. Have you ever given him the opportunity to try to do something on their own? Before you start spouting off, ask yourself that very simple question. Alright, now we're going to get to Mr. Nathan here, who has a PhD in cognitive psychology in Rutgers University, New Brunswick. Nathan says, I am writing here to support research aimed primarily at improving quality of life for autistic people of all ages. My bro. I suggest to committee that this effort would be best served by investigating topics such as what educational environments enable autistic people to learn real-world skills. How can workplaces be made more friendly to autistic employees without negatively impacting neurotypical coworkers? How can we build better systems for social and medical, including but not limited to mental health support for autistic individuals of all ages? Now we are asking the correct questions. Now we are asking the correct questions. And I think within that research, your best source for information are going to be people like me. Not only individuals who have worked in this field, but have also been out there in the workforce. We can tell you what worked, what didn't education-wise, and why. And what best assisted us in helping us learn those real-world skills. And we could tell you what we would feel would help make things more friendly with the autistic employees, as well as not pissing off the neurotypicals. Asking all the right questions, and I would love to see like a research panel with multiple adult autistics to start really hammering out these questions and start working together to start to get some data. There's a lot of autistics who work in statistics. I would love to see something like that. Hell, if I had more money than I did, I would insist on being a part of it. Insist. You guys don't know. I'd be the most annoying person they've probably ever dealt with. I would also suggest, he says, to the committee that the research based on pure behavioralism, an outdated and overly simplistic paradigm of psychology, has been broadly disadvantageous to the autistic quality of life. It should be subject to increased scrutiny. Dude. I mean, I know I'm a chick, but can I be your bruh? Can I be one of your bros? You, me, sir. Same wavelength. Exactly. Exactly. In particular, efforts that aimed at altering or concealing stereotyped autistic behaviors through conditioning and not through the conscious, free, and informed decision of the autistic person in question have done considerable harm and should not be supported by the committee. Go off. Go all the way off. Just you, myself, sir, same wavelength. Same wavelength. If we lived in the same area, I'd probably insist on adopting you into my friend circle immediately. We're a friendly group, I promise. Although we do like to info dump, and the Godzilla vs. Kong debate is still heavily contested. Alright, folks. Before I go further into left field, we're going to go ahead and close out on this one. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time, so if you all would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We don't want you missing any episodes of Down the Rabbit Hole or the Snake Oil Salesman series. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.